Everyone who pre-ordered Payday 2's Career Criminal Edition received a copy of Bane's Guide to the Criminal Underworld. Bane's guide is written as though Bane has discovered an old manuscript written by the famous Italian occultist and thief Giuseppe Balsamo, better known by his alias Alessandro Cagliostro. And then Bane has taped stuff on a bunch of the pages and written all over it in red ballpoint pen because he's an idiot. For the most part, it's an instruction manual for the game, but near the back there are a couple of things that tell us that it's also something more. There's this page, in which Bane suggests that the 9 illustration pages throughout the guide have some greater significance. Then, on the last page of the guide, Bane has taped in one final note. It mentions someone or something called Baldwin, a capital S secret, and the undercover and counterfeit jobs from Payday 1's Wolfpack DLC. So now we've been explicitly told that there's some kind of big secret in the game. To get an idea of what we might be dealing with, and to understand one of the references in Bane's guide, it's important to know about the big secret that Overkill put into the first Payday game. Shortly after the release of the first game's Wolfpack DLC, the devs started saying cryptic things on the game's Steam forum, hinting to the community that something was afoot. A week or two later, players discovered that a radio on the counterfeit map would sometimes play several seconds of strange static after completing a song. Run through a spectrograph, the static reveals this image. A dev dropped another hint a few days later that led to people discovering a second burst of static, which could be triggered by having 4 players sit on the 4 bar stools in the basement of one of the houses on Counterfeit. Analyzed the same way, that static revealed this image. With the columns rearranged, the image looks like this, and the numbers in the first and third rows spell out the coordinates for the Pumapunku Temple in Bolivia. A map on a table in one of the counterfeit houses has a magnifying glass laid on it magnifying Bolivia, suggesting that this is indeed the correct interpretation of the clue. What do all these strange hints and images mean? For a while, nobody could figure it out, and the initial flurry of activity died down. Then, a bit more than 2 months after the first cryptic hints were delivered, Overkill released an image celebrating the anniversary of the game's release that was pretty obviously secret-related, and 2 weeks later, the big breakthrough came. The first static image is a reference to some of the conditions for uncovering the secret. Baldwin 1174 is a reference to King Baldwin IV of Jerusalem, who was crowned in 1174. He suffered from leprosy and is thus sometimes depicted wearing a mask, as in the movie Kingdom of Heaven. Murua, reversed, is aurum, Latin for gold, and these clues together are meant to mean that your crew needed to wear the special gold masks that were awarded to players who managed to complete all of the game's original heists on the highest difficulty. The squares in the image are meant to evoke a hallway in the First World Bank heist that has 8 pillars, and the arrows instruct your crew to stand in those positions while facing the indicated directions. The developers' cryptic comments about cameras, combined with the intact cameras in the anniversary image, hinted that the secret would only work if none of the cameras in the bank were destroyed. When a team of secret hunters finally managed to apply all these hints, a red strobe light came on and they were rewarded with a vault door appearing where there had previously only been a wall. All they had to do was drill through. It turned out to be no small feat. What's worse, when they were finally able to break through many tries later, the reward was only an empty room leading to an even larger vault door, this time undrillable. One of the heisters discovered that he could interact with a group of tiles on the floor, and when he depressed one of them, the chamber filled with poisonous gas.
Fuck me!
After 2 hours of desperate drilling and fighting, they still had not defeated the puzzle. The final piece was a rug in the house in Counterfeit. Some people say that the shape of the coiled lines on this rug is supposed to be similar enough to the shape of the Pumapunku Temple that the temple clue leads here, but that seems to be a pretty weak association. Anyway, the shaded symbols on the carpet give the pattern of tiles that must be depressed in the hidden vault to open the final door. Now, we can't know for sure how involved Payday 2's secret will be. It could be much simpler than the overdrill puzzle, but also it could be even more complex. So what do we know about the secret of Payday 2 then? Per Bane's final note, it may have something to do with the counterfeit and undercover jobs of the first game, or maybe even the events of the overdrill. Also, the images in Bane's guide are related to it somehow. And that's it. It's been about 3 weeks since the release of the game, and nobody has uncovered anything anywhere near as solid as the radio static from Counterfeit. This is already long enough without going into all the wild speculation and potential dead-end clues that we're chasing down right now, but I can go over all of that stuff in another video. Until next time, good luck, and keep your eyes open.